Q&A. You know what? I could go live on Facebook too. You might as well. I think I might as well go live on Facebook and everything else. Q&A Sunday. Let's see how many people we get to tune in here. Yeah, I'm gonna start it up on Facebook too. Why not? Maybe we get like 2 or 3 viewers, even if it's a replay, a rerun. Day trading Q&A. For those of you tuning in, what's up? What's up? We'll wait, get a few more people in here, and then we'll jump into it. I usually do one of these. Well, let's say myself or Marcelo, we usually do one on Sundays for the MMU students. This weekend, we only have about 3 questions, so I decided to just do it for the entire community. Maybe, there's some questions that you guys can ask that, maybe help out some of the students, vice versa, and so forth. But yeah, let's see, Facebook, Discord, OBS, all this streaming stuff, I tell you. Connect. All right, there we go. Facebook looks good. All right, I guess I'll do the official introduction now, and then I'll get on with the show. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Relentless Trader video. In this one, we'll be doing a Q&A Sunday. All right, so buckle up, grab your popcorn, grab your drinks, and it is time to lock in. So first and foremost, I hope you guys had a good weekend, or let's say having a good weekend. Of course, Sunday, it's still pretty early. It's 2:07 p.m. here on the East Coast. And it's a beautiful day, really, here in the New York area, right? We have, I believe, about 75 degrees. I do ask, as you're tuning in, to hit that thumbs up. That way we get a few more people to tune in. I'm going to start off with a few of the MMU questions, and then we'll, move on from there. Let's see, I'll have my trader view open, so if you guys want to ask questions relating to my metrics, if you want to ask, any sort of general day trading questions, psychology questions, anything along those lines, all fair game. Hey, if you even want to ask a personal question, maybe you say, hey, Relentless, how tall are you, right? And I'll tell you, hey, I'm 5'10", all right? 5'10", 5'9", somewhere there. The pastor, average height. What's this thing called? TraderView. TraderView, the software that I use to track my metrics, will also log in there, pull that up, and have it on standby just in case. Okay, so let me just jump over to the Discord, and let's just get those couple of questions from the students first, and then we will continue. So we have a designated section in the Discord for students to ask questions. Okay, let's pull it on over. Let's see. Oren had a question. Okay, looks like Marcelo covered that. So let's see. It's still fine to use. Is it still fine to use DAS with Thinkorswim despite TOS / Ameritrade already acquired by Schwab? So the word is that the DAS Trader software will be discontinued during the transition, but more than likely it'll be back up and running. And so what we mean is you'll actually be able to place trades. Well, let's say right now you can place trades through the DAS Trader software and have it be reflected into the Thinkorswim software automatically, right? Once the transition happens, that will no longer be the case. So you'll have to execute through Thinkorswim and not DAS Trader. Just a heads up there, right? When the switch happens, which I forget the date. They keep asking me to, every time I log in, they keep asking me to switch, but I haven't done it yet. I think it's May 11th, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere there. So we got about 2 weeks before it's like official. For me, let me show you guys this screen up here on the YouTube channel. This monitor is what I usually look at as I'm trading live. I have DAS here, but it's rare that I actually execute through DAS. Like I'm still executing through Thinkorswim, and I'm just watching at the DAS level too visually. It still, it still works for me in that way. So once I see, the patterns looking good, and then the price action is aligning for that key area, that trigger point, I'm looking at that level too, but executing through Thinkorswim. Uh, yeah, okay, and so someone here is also replying to that. Okay, it's May 10th. I said May 11th, so it's May 10th. Yeah, I knew it was something, some one of those days. What skill do you really need as a trader to profit out of this bear market we've had seen in the past few weeks? Past week, I'd say past few weeks, really. Share size is one thing, but I think there are many more skills and approaches needed to be made. I don't think it is mainly share size because I see you guys still being green. Okay, yes, yeah, okay. I see what the question is saying here. It's definitely a good question. So it's not a matter of keeping the losses small. It's mainly an approach and tactics to capture the best that I struggle with. So yeah. So here's the thing. Here's the key difference between, and I'm on the wrong screen here. Let me not forget to go back. Here's the key difference between a hot market and a cold market. In a hot market, the opportunities are plentiful, they're very frequent, and they're close together. In a cold market, the opportunities are fewer and farther apart. And so in a hot market, you can be sloppy, you can start the day red, all these different things, but the chances are that the opportunities are just coming, stocks are going up, halting up, that you can probably get back green before the day is over, right? Maybe one day you might see three, four stocks, or maybe two really good stocks do very well, right? Um, so when it comes to tactics, okay, you mentioned share size. Yeah, so sorry about that. My sibling was calling me. Guys, as you're tuning in on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button. Yeah, okay, so share size, right? Share size is good because it's something to consider, let's say, because in a colder market, another thing is that sometimes the better looking setups, they don't always work out as well in terms of the follow through, right? So sometimes sizing super aggressively and getting a breakout of just 5 to 10 cents versus a hotter market, a breakout, 15 to 50 cents is something you want to consider, that liquidity, in there. So share size is always something, right? But okay, tactic, approach. For me, I've realized, hey, and this is where you got to be quick to make adjustments. I keep starting the day red every day. I'm starting the day red like every day, almost every day in the last 3 weeks. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to keep doing this because then this is just delusion. I have a post that I saw from Will Smith, right? That said, actually, hold on, let me pull it up. This is pretty relevant for what we're talking about here. I need to get the quote exactly. Let me just open up my photos. It's saved right here. Well, okay, maybe it's saved in my other phone. Anyhow, actually, hold on. Let me. Where's my phone? Okay, there it is. Hold on. This is this is definitely needed. Brada, brada. Where is it? Put it aside. Okay, it's right here. A mistake repeated more than once is a decision. And I'm sorry I had to go on that goose chase there, but a mistake repeated more than once is a decision. And I thought that was pretty powerful because very often in this trading world, in this trading field, we find ourselves making the same mistakes over and over. And for me, in the last 2 weeks, coming in, being a little too aggressive early, starting the day down 600, right? Starting the day down 600. And it's like, why am I doing the same thing when I see what the momentum is doing to me. And then by the time I'm trying to fight my way back, I'm barely, and this, again, just clicking on one of these random days here, you can already see the example. Why am I doing this to myself when I have the choice and the option to not to not follow this theme? That's really what it comes down to, right? How quickly can you make the adjustment? So you say, what tactics are we using? Because the strategy is the strategy, right? It starts with the strategy, and if certain components of the strategy is not strong, then we have to make that adjustment. Hey, the open is weak. Stocks are selling off irrationally. Yes, I'm trying to keep a tight stop. Yes, I'm trying to get out quickly, but it's not working. So avoid those trades. Avoid those trades and save myself the headache of starting down 600. So this day, if I would have made the adjustment on the first 2-3 days, which is usually my goal, I'd have been doing better. And it took me 2 weeks to say, okay, enough is enough. So you have to adjust quickly. Components and parts of the strategy that are not working as well, you have to either avoid, eliminate, or adjust, right? Change. And sometimes, let's go to another example. The halt resumptions, the dip and rips in hotter markets, it can pay off very well. In these times right now, we're going in and the spreads are opening 50, 60 cents. It's just a nightmare to even take those trades right now. Like, you have to be so careful. And what we're seeing, we're getting caught into the halt down and trying to buy the dip. We have to make that adjustment and not trade it. And the trend, what's been the trend? We saw like 5 stocks over the last couple of days, like NIVF, in this price range of $1 to $3, that's made a move. It's been a little bit of a grinding price action. It's been a little bit of a slower moving price action. Still opportunities for quick scalps, but we see that the 5-minute pattern really is shining. The longer hold time, being in and holding longer, has really been working out, and even off of some of the 1-minute dips. Now, do I want to completely change how I trade for this market? The answer is no, but I do want to be a little bit more aware that the usual of what I'm trading, or how do I phrase it? Let's say what I'm trading now is very different from what would work well for me, right? In a hot market, I do very well off of the volatility and the price action, right? As the patterns are aligning. So a stock going from, let's say, 2 to 220, back down to 2, back to 220, 225, 230, and aggressive quick movements versus, and we can literally look at examples too, like versus what we're seeing now, it's slower grinding price action. So you got to adjust the expectation is another thing. You can't expect, and you have to be careful with the daily goal, right? I don't have one. I just, try to trade my best every day. My average, right? Let's go back to TraderView. My average, and I know I go too long on some of these questions, but this is the last one, so we'll move on to the YouTube stream after this. But my average has been, let's go to January 1st. My average has been close to like 2,000 per day, right? Come on, internet speed. Where we go, calendar, and then detailed reports, then detailed. Okay. So this has been the average before this month, right? Like 2,000 has been the average before this month. If we now come to just the last 3 weeks, going back to the 7th or the 8th, this is where I'm at right now. Literally $115. $115 over the last 3 weeks per day. If I try to make $2,000 a day, it'd be disastrous. I'd be trading a market that I want to be in and not what's in front of me. That alone is very powerful, right? And so you make that adjustment towards the price action we're seeing now, you can still get by. You can still make something, right? I haven't been as aggressive as I could be because, to me, can I push more and double the days, triple the days that I've been seeing, the $400 or $500 days? Again, avoid that $600 red day start. Like all 2 weeks, that's happened to me almost every day. So that alone is like, you avoid that, you're already plus 600 on the day essentially, right? This is how I would have been finishing. And if I pushed a little more, stuck around a little longer, could I finish at 1,000 a day, close to it? Yeah, perhaps. But I already know what is to come. And so right now I'm just on cruise control. I'm not even worried about the momentum right now. I'm just waiting for when the fire is turned back on, and then it'll be time again. But yeah, all of that is to say, adjustments are necessary. We have to be quick in making changes, and we have to understand the type of market that we're in to make the adjustment. So yeah, let me come over to the YouTube side. Let's see what you guys are saying. I know that was pretty long. And Marcelo usually pops this out, so we'll pop it out and put it over here. Take a page out of his book. Let's see. So Zay, what's going on? Daniel, Trap, Infinity, how you guys doing? How you guys doing? How was your week P&L wise? I had a crap week, red week. So we can look at that quickly here. Calendar, and then we'll go from here. Let's see. 22nd to 26th, $900. A normal 9 to 5 week at an average job. And that's not to like diss anybody or anything like that, but that's what I remember my paycheck looking like when I used to work at Amazon, right? And I used to do 60 hours, 60-hour week, as my pay wasn't that much. Any overtime I could get to like, bump up my pay a little bit. Let's see, what's up? I've been watching you for about 3 years now. Are you just strictly buy and sell? As in like long? I mean, yeah, primarily I go long. I don't usually go short. If you're referring to adding to positions, sometimes I will. Sometimes I'll buy a multiple times. Also, if there's a really good area, like let's say a huge bid comes in at a key area, sometimes I'll hit my buy button 10 times if I have a small amount of share size in my active trader, right? To get to the quantity of share size that I want for that particular trade. But yeah, other than that, I'm old fashioned long bias trader, buying and selling, utilizing market orders, limit orders, and so forth. I started trading real money Monday, but on cash account. Any tips? I think 1 day settlement is coming soon, so that should be good. Um, but the key with cash accounts is just to go slow, right? Really and truly, I'm not sure if you've been in the sim before, but if you're just now starting trading and you're now in a cash account, the key is to just master the strategy you're trading, right? Repetition, screen time, putting in the work. A lot of people I tell, even if you're brand new to the market, you've been around the markets, you're not quite consistent, even if you have an account over 25K, and you're now starting out like for real, the goal isn't to really make money. The goal is to master a strategy. So whether you're using 1 share, 10 shares, utilize your cash account in a way to where you really and truly do not even need the 1 day settlement, right? Use a small amount of share size to where you can practice unlimitedly, especially if you're doing this type of like trading we're doing, right? Under the context you're trading like us, where you're scalping aggressively, you want to make sure you are understanding and connecting with the style of trade rather than, hey, I'm going to try to make money. Because if you're saving for a PDT account, right, which, ultimately I think is the best way to go, if you're saving for a PDT account and you can master the skill, that's what's important. Because the PDT account can come later through many different forms, shapes, and sizes, right? There's ways to get money eventually, but if you can master the strategy, then you have something very special. Some people, you can have a 30,000 account sitting there, but if you don't have any sort of strategy that you've mastered, then it doesn't mean anything, right? It's just a bank account at that point. Guys, be sure to hit that thumbs up as you're tuning in. Be sure to hit that thumbs up. If you're a new viewer, consider subscribing. Consider subscribing to the channel. We can pull this over here to the left-hand side, perhaps. Man, shout out to Zay. Zay has been around for a long time and also a big time member here in the community, just supporting the channel every day. Zay, don't worry, man. I see you. I see you. Also a part of MMU. Let's see. The main metrics you look at on TraderView. I mean, I guess I look at everything. I can't read sometimes. I guess I look at everything. I look at a little bit of everything. I come in the detailed section. I see what's going on. Um, my accuracy definitely hasn't been super good these last couple of weeks. My volume, a little lower than average, but okay. Still enough to get the job done. Um, I look at a little bit of everything, right? I'll notice my largest loss here, bigger than my biggest gain. And I remember this was that day I tried to take 10,000 shares on I think AUUD, good area. The thing flushes down from the whole dollar after the move and then rips up to 320. I'm in at 305, 10,000. It flushes to 290, then rips up to 320. One of those things you kind of have to like roll your eye and just smile and move on. It does sometimes when I see stuff like this, it brings the memory back into my mind of that particular trade. Yeah, but I look at a little bit of everything, right? Which in terms of like price range and stuff like that, like which price range am I doing a little bit better on, things to avoid. It's good to look at a little bit of everything just to see where you are. This right here also tells me that I've been making money but not quite retaining it. Again, going red to start the day, things like that. This is just over 3 weeks. $50,000 passing through the account and not really making money. It's just sometimes it's hard to look at, but these things are things you need to see. The drawdown was 2K at one point. Let's see. Coming back. What laptop do you use? What do you see that we what do you see that we don't? This is an interesting question. Before we move on to the next one. Work in progress. It's interesting because I remember when Marcelo was turning the corner and he like we were talking and he's like, I think I get it. And I remember telling him once you start to see it, you can't unsee it. Those pictures that you look at and there's like multiple pictures within the same image. If you move left, it changes. If it moves right, it changes. Or sometimes it's just one image, but there's three pictures inside of it. And it's like some people can see all three, some people can see two, some people can see one. But the thing is that the strategy the strategy is there. And for those of you especially who are in the classes, you got to go through the classes. Like there's students who have bought the course and would just skip to the archive or would just skip over certain chapters. Like even if you've been around, this is always key for me to say. Even if you've been around, you can't you can't underestimate the value that's there, right? Because sometimes that's what helps you to be able to see everything as a full puzzle, rather than hey, a piece here, a piece there is missing, right? The strategy is there. The strategy is the strategy, but you got to be willing to go through the classes, take your time, reach out to us, and we're here. The way how this thing is set up. This is why what we're doing is better than anybody else, and not to like talk about the course or anything really, but Marcelo, myself, the other mentors, Tim, Triad, and even some of the Team House guys, we're literally here like 24/7. And I do mentor sessions regularly, and shout out to everyone who's been like reaching out in these things. But if there's something you're not understanding, if there's a area you're having issues, reach out to me. Reach out to me now. I'm here every day. Reach out to me, right? it does get a little tricky because like there's it's a big the community is growing, but I need the students who are having trouble. If you're somebody who is having trouble, reach out to me and let's do an hour session together, right? Where we can go over trades. Even if you want to say relentless, like I just don't understand why you would have bought here, why you would have sold. I've done sessions with people, and it's like we're going over everything, every single detail. So even if you think that there's something that you're missing, reach out. In this way, we can help you to see everything that we see. And that's why we're here, right? Let's see. So where was I? Oh, what laptop do I use? I use an MSI GL66. It's decent. I think there's a newer model already, or two newer models since then. And if you're someone who's not really doing all the streaming, you're not doing, I'm streaming to like three different platforms. I'm streaming to Discord. I'm doing this, doing that. If you're not doing all that and you're just trading, and I'm running like four brokers, or let's say three brokers, one execution platform. If you're not doing all that, you don't really need as crazy as a computer. Like Marcelo's laptop is like 4,500. Like you don't need that type of laptop. Like that's overkill. That's for somebody who's doing all these stuff we're doing. But you're going to want to get something that has, at least 16 gigabytes of RAM and a decent process. What's it called? CPU. Right, the processing power has to be decent. And in 2024, 2023 models, like they're pretty decent, right? You get one extra screen if you need to, like an external monitor, and you're good to go. Like I remember in the Team House Calamity, right, from the Discord, very simple setup. Just one. I think at that time one extra monitor. This is the first trading meetup. One extra monitor. Older laptop. At that time, he's the biggest trader in the Team House. 800,000 in profits. So you don't need to have the fanciest equipment. You know, and also budget, right? Depending on your budget and what you can afford. All of that's to put into consideration. I think this question from Daniel goes on under the same question about a cash account earlier. Daniel, and also, are you trading the hyper scalping style that we trade? This is another question. Because when it comes to me stopping out of trades, I'm clicking the sell button myself. Like I'm getting out manually with hotkeys, the sell button with hotkeys. Thinkorswim has a flatten button that I'll sometimes click, or I'll just sell the position with my hotkey. Some people, there's hot buttons. Some people like to use the mouse, depending on, but they call it mental stops. But we're actually clicking the sell button, right? When the stock is in an area where we deem it to be weak, or that we no longer need to be in the trade, or that we need to take profits. Yeah, I'm making it a vow to go see my doctor here in the next couple of days. Like it's time. I gotta go. Sometimes when you're young, you like to just think you're invincible and that you're Superman, Superwoman. You don't need to go. But I gotta go. I gotta go, and like I have a mucus infection, and it's like nothing I try is working. So I gotta go to the real experts here. That's why every day I'm on this thing, my nose is like stuffy, and I can't. When I listen to it, I can hear myself like not talking clearly. But anyhow, so that's a side note, right? Let's come on down, brother. It's Beam. Beam, how you doing? I'm back. Beam, I'm gonna send you a message in Discord. Actually, well, I don't know if I want to do it this way. I guess I can, right? Yeah, Beam, I'll reach out to you. Yeah, why not? Like, there's gonna be a slot, an extra slot. I mentioned this on a live stream already. There's gonna be an extra slot available in our next Team House meetup. Right? I mean, it can be anybody here in the community, really. If you're interested, you have to be cool. You're gonna have to, be transparent. You're gonna have to be willing to be on camera. And of course, before we get into any sort of like, back end stuff, you're gonna have to like, I'm gonna have to talk to you like face to face, like whoever it is. And I'm saying that because there's literally people who just do not want to show their face, and that's okay. That's perfectly fine. But yeah, the next day trading team house meetup, we've already took care of all the back end stuff. Right now, we're just planning activities. It's gonna be a full week. It's gonna be a Saturday to Saturday. I'm not gonna mention any dates, anything like that yet. But yeah, it's gonna be fun, and I can already see a lot of people being interested. So maybe we might have to do something to like filter or vet. I mean, whatever we come up with, we'll see. But there's time. There's some distance in between now and then. But yeah, we'll let you guys know. We'll let you guys know for sure. And I can speed it up here as I'm going through the questions. Uh, why didn't you start a hedge fund? We'll see where we go in the next few years, or the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. What I'm coming to realize is that almost anything is possible. And if you can continue to work on yourself, you can continue to build and network with the right set of people. I mean, anything is really possible. Things that seem unachievable, it doesn't really seem so impossible anymore, like to think of yourself as, man, could I really do something like that? We could. It's possible. It wouldn't be easy, that's for sure. It'd be, but it's possible. Over the years we'll see where we end up, right? DK, how did you learn that your system works for you? Good question. Um, so back when I started trading, commissions was a thing. And I used to trade and I used to try to hold longer. And I was making progress. I was making progress, but I think because at that time the market was a little slower, I was definitely getting frustrated a little quicker and easier because I would be in positions, I'd be up 10 cents, 8 cents, 5 cents, 15 cents, 20 cents, a lot of times unrealized, and I would get stopped out because the stock wouldn't hit my target. And this is what I was struggling with, like, when do I sell into, in the green? Because a lot of the times I'm taking the right setups, but it's like based off of the charting, based off of the volume, every single indicator that I know of, this stock should give a 20-cent bounce. And I wasn't being super rigid either. But when I'm thinking we should see a 20-cent bounce, the stock bounces up 7 cents and then flushes down, or let's say comes against me. And it's like, in my head, I just keep saying, why didn't I just take the couple cents, right? But it's because I had the target. And so there's always this thing inside of me that felt like maybe I should just take the couple cents. But again, commissions was a thing. And so the more you trade, the more it would eat up into your profits. There were things that I was going to work on to try to test out the different like theories and like hypothesis that I had, which was maybe I could take these couple of cents, but I would need certain amount of size. There's different things that I was going to try, but I kid you guys not, literally like 2 weeks, because I was in the sim already working. I was like, I was in a small account too. I had a live account at the time, trading 3-day trades every 5 days. Didn't even know about a cash account. This is how much of a rookie I was. And then I'd switched to the sim. Right, so that was 1 year. The second year I switched to the sim. It's like 2019. 2020 I switched to the sim. But the end of well, no, I switched to the sim, I think like summer of 2019 or end of 2019, something like that. And because I remember being in a sim when commissions went away, which I think was October of 2019. But yeah, commissions literally went away. And it's like at this point, I don't need to do any more back testing when it comes to, being profitable after the fees. So I'm like, you know what? Every single time now that I'm up 5 cents, 10 cents, 15 cents, I'm just gonna take it. And that's kind of when I like really said like, yes, like Like, I feel good about what I'm doing here. There's always going to be an argument for the other side, which is to, hey, give the bigger picture move more of a chance, let the trade play out, give it that time to really, and that's not bad. I don't think it's bad. It's different. It's what it is, right? If your personality is more suited towards holding longer, and it's more suited to some of the other styles that we'll see around the trading communities, right? The Tim Sykes, the warrior traders, the other people that like will hold a little longer. So it's something that can work, but it's like different, and that's okay. But that's kind of how I found out, like, yes, this style here, man. And the thing that I really loved about it is that I'm buying in an area where, for what I know, and how the markets are moving and the strategy, right, that the stock should go up. I'm buying in an area where the stock should go up all the time, even if it's on a dip or a breakout. So the moment that I'm in, the stock should go up. And so it really, in theory, limits my risk because, one, we're not dropping and I'm going long. And if it's not going immediately, I can sell it and I can then be break even and I can try to get back in. And then on top of that, there is no fees if I'm taking multiple trades. So I can literally try one area, let's say break a 5. I can try it 5 times. And even if it doesn't go the first 3 or 4 times, because I'm stopping out so quickly, if it's not going, my risk is limited and I'm getting a chance to get the move up if it does go. And this is not going to make sense. Some people are listening to me right now, so going to say this is nonsense. And that's perfectly fine, right? Because whatever works for the individual works for them. But that's when I realized this style is going to be great for me. And I was also coming from a place where I didn't have a lot of money to spare. In fact, I was in the negatives. I had no money. I was in debt, right? Even when I funded my account, it was just straight up debt, borrowing money. So I didn't want a system where I could see myself losing a crazy amount, right? And so it's like, okay, being in these key areas along with small share size, I can be able to build up slowly over time. Even when there's a loss and there's a stock that flushes out in a great area, that's not what's typical. And so that's gonna happen, but it's an outlier versus to what's very common in these areas where the indicators are aligning, level 2 looking good, everything looking good, and it's coming together, right? Uh this market 2K a day this month's been terrible. The number one thing for me right now, and maybe I skipped the question. The number one thing for me right now, actually no, I think we're good. I feel very good about two things. One, I can control how much I lose. Because let's say the market becomes so bad. I can, if I need to go down to one share size again, I have no shame in my game. I've eliminated, and hopefully it never comes back, but I've eliminated any sort of pride, ego, any sort of aggression towards, like, like, that stuff is like whatever the market gives me, because the market always has a say. I had to learn this the hard way. I remember a time I came in and I said, I came in here and I said, me, relentless trader, I can't get a green day. Nah, this is impossible. Like coming in, like there's walls in here. Like, nah, I'm gonna have a green day. Like, I've been red 4 days in a row. All right, watch today. I'm gonna come in. I'm gonna be green. Biggest biggest red day of that month, man. Like that stuff I had to eliminate. Like, so now it's like they what do they call it? Humidity. Like, I've surrendered to the market. Like, the market is like the ocean and it's vast. I cannot drink all the water that's there, and so I have to play by its rules. You know. So, and having confidence and understanding that I could size down, reduce my share size, control how much I lose, and then on the other hand, I know that the market will get hot again. It's only a matter of time. Maybe we get a few sprinkles of good days in between the cold markets, but the market is going to consistently be hot again. And if we look at the SPY right now, like the SPY is, the market is pulling back. At the conference, the Clover trading conference, we had one of like the big traders there mentioning that they think that the SPY was going to pull back and things are going to slow down, and this is how it's been for years, right? We're in this bit of a dip here. Maybe it goes down a little lower, consolidates, and then eventually we go up again. This stuff does play, impact us, right? This stuff does impact us. People are going to move their money wherever they think has the best returns. And sometimes that might be, hey, small caps need to take a bit of a back seat. Let's put some more money into crypto or large caps, or maybe an individual stock, because these things are actually happening, right? We don't really think about it because we're just in this tunnel of just breaking news, stock goes up, patterns, technicals, but the larger market does have an effect, right? And a lot of times we see these economic and political, geopolitical things trickling down. A good example would be when they had those Black Lives Matter protests, and they said, hey, we need badge cams on every officer. And then before you know it, badge cam companies in the small cap land, 200%. That's the day we're up a couple thousand because the stock went from 2 to 4 to 5, whatever. There's a bit of a correlation. It's not the exact as large caps. Large caps are following the SPY like almost exactly, but the sentiment affects us. It affects us at least a little bit. But yeah, I feel confident in knowing I can size down and that a hot market will come again. And even if I go sideways, my main goal is not to lose money. Even if I go sideways, and even then, if we get a sprinkle of a couple of days, then we can make something, because we just need one or two good days really to have a decent month with the level of risk I'm willing to put out now. So we'll see how it goes. And even if you're not in that place to where 1 or 2 days can make the month for you, it's still a matter of taking it slow and grinding it out, right? Where's the questions? Okay, there we go. I think this has been good for me. It's been showing me a lot of patience. Yeah, and there's always a lesson to learn, right? At least most times. Quick profits instead of walking. Where to go up multiple candles. Yeah, it's coming down to personality. Farmer makes 5K a day, but sells a course for $50. Hey, different community, different trader, different brand. It's one of those things where you can have like you can have a t-shirt at what do you want to say? What's a big brand like what's this thing called? Gucci, right? And you can have a t-shirt at Walmart. One can be $50 or $500. One can be $5, right? It just comes down to the individual and the value that they see and what they have. So yeah, let's see. I traded on the simulator for about 2 years. Yeah, the Thinkorswim simulator back in the days was like really good, man. Now I hear there's like a ton of lag and stuff, but back when I used to use it, it's like, to be honest, it's basically like this. It was almost the same, other than three things. One, you could buy into a halted stock. You would get instant fills on limit orders, and then three, you could take a crazy amount of size. Those are like the three things to like watch out for, right? That would not translate. Like you would be able to take 1,000,000 shares instantly, and like we know that's not how liquidity work. So if you would stay in the confines of like understanding what share size is, having a plan, having a max loss, having an amount you're willing to risk, and accepting that loss, and then understanding, hey, if I'm in a live account, maybe instead of getting filled instantly all the time, I will get partial fills. I will get lack of fills, stuff like that. Yeah. So once you had that down pack, like it, I mean, it was so similar. It's to the point where I was in the simulator, and then once I made the switch, like I had put out a video back in those days, like, hey, $26,000 account challenge coming soon, blah blah blah, starting Monday. Like there was people watching me every day, and like didn't even realize I switched over from the simulator to the live account for weeks. Like I remember what, like I think was it LMD? One of the guys were there after like 3 months. Like, wait, what? Like you switched to a real account? Like that's how crazy it was. Like the simulator was good, like, but now they say it's a lot of lag. So anytime people ask, the DAS Trader Simulator is good. The only thing that's different from Thinkorswim is that they do not have the price improvement with the market orders. So anytime you hit market, you're gonna get filled on the ask definitely going in, and on the bid coming out definitely. So we recommend trading tighter spread stocks and avoiding stocks with huge spreads. If you're trading something with more of a spread, you definitely have to use the limit orders. The good thing there is that they do have the offsets, which is a marketable limit order, right? That's something that you can definitely use to help, give yourself an advantage. And it's honestly something that I should be doing more of when there is a stock with a spread, because sometimes I'm trying to get that fill and the thing is back up, I don't get a chance, right? Let's see. Let me bring this back over here. At this rate, I'm gonna need glasses. Shout out to Relentless Trader and Ross. I don't really talk too much about other traders these days, but I got respect for guys like Ross. I don't know these people personally. That's the best. I'll say that. I don't know none of these people in real life to say, hey, like this guy's pretty sound, other than the team house guys and the people around the community. But like in the Discord, who like video calls, things like that. Um, these people are people who, you know, again, I don't know their personality, but watching videos online, it's like they seem pretty sound. You got to give respect where respect is due. This is the thing with me. You never, even if somebody out there is like, doing some nonsense, I don't talk about people. But what I will do, is give people the respect when they're doing something good, right? So a lot of respect for those guys, man. They're like big time traders. Let's see. Break even for five. How do you feel about a break even 5 or 10 hotkey to manage risk? I'm not sure I understand that question. Like something to sell break even automatically, like for a stop. If that's the case, I mean, it could be useful. Could be useful. I know some people do struggle with hitting the sell button and getting out of the trade themselves. So if that's something that you're having issues with, then you have to do whatever is necessary to ensure success, right? But this quicker, unless you can like build a script, which more than likely you can in like DAS, of course. If you can build a script to where it can always try to stop you out, break even, then that's good. Even if you get some slippage sometimes. But other than that, if you can be able to do it manually yourself, like, hey, it's time to get out of this trade, quickly hit the sell button, that's pretty good too, right? But whatever it takes, whatever it takes. If you're someone who's struggling and you got to get that extra boost, you look into getting it done. Yeah, yeah. BM, you can message me. I'll take care of you, brother. I'll take care of it. No problem. Next week is strong. Yeah. Hopefully next week is strong. Da, 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 da. Yeah, Momo Pro does offer halt levels now. If you're going to check it out, you can use code Relentless for 25% off for 6 months. Shout out to Momo Pro. Momo Pro is missing one thing now. and that is a percentage gain filter to be added to the stream. Once they add that, that platform will be better than every other scanning platform that there is. I'm asking him. I know the guy. I know his name is Brent. He's CEO over there. I spoke to him multiple times on the phone, and I don't know why he's not like he's not understanding. He's not understanding when I'm asking him for this thing, man. The platform is good. I get my watch list there every day, but once they have that particular update, I think it's $30 for everything. Like it will not be able to be beat. I could see, and I could see everybody using this thing, in the small cap world, because at that point it'll just make sense. Why pay $100 for a scanner, $50, $80 when this is giving you everything you need at a cheaper price, right? To be honest, I'd build a scanner myself if I could, but I cannot do it now. Maybe in the if I don't get everything I need from this platform, maybe sometime down the line. I did talk to somebody about it, but it's like I'm not on that level yet. Soon. But if this is giving me everything I need, then I don't have any need to build a scanner myself, right? And I just keep using this because whilst there could be an opportunity, you got to ask yourself if it's something you really want to do, because it becomes a huge responsibility at that point. There's a lot of upkeeping. It's going to be a different line of business. You know, there's pros and cons to it all, right? Let's see, coming down, the trading paradox. In what way does a trader have to learn how to be rigid and flexible at the same time? That's a good question. Definitely a bit of a tongue twister. Well, I'd say that you have to be flexible in understanding that the market is a living and breathing thing, and that you'll have to make adjustments. And the number one thing that's constant in life is change. In fact, our brokers get being shipped over to another company, a bigger company that's buying them out right now, right? And there's been concerns that there might be change, things being different. And I don't know if you guys saw, but they're even considering 24/7 trading for the New York Stock Exchange, you know. So change is always going to be something that's constant. And we have to be able to react to it in a positive way and try to make the best decisions for ourselves. So in that sense, you definitely have to be flexible. But there's certain things that you want to be rigid with when it comes to your discipline, right? There has to be certain lines that you do not cross. And even if none of us are perfect, so even if you come into the field less refined and you find yourself making certain mistakes and losing control, and falling victim to that inner battle, then you know you have to become prideful in that sense, in that aspect, that hey, I see where I'm having issues, and I see what's causing me to be out of character, losing that discipline, and this is what I'm going to do to not ever cross that line, and this is how I'm going to be rigid, this is how I'm going to be very firm, and have that self-discipline, that control. So again, going back to that quote that I read earlier, right? A mistake repeated more than once is a decision. And so how do we get to a point where we can become more refined, right? Because there's traders, there are few traders who are essentially profitable traders. They have almost like 99% of what they need, but then they have one issue that costs them And it's a very difficult thing because it's like you know that you can be a good trader, that you know that you can be successful in so many ways, but then there's like this Achilles heel kind of thing that brings you back down. And there's this is one of the hardest parts about being like a mentor, being a teacher, is that when it comes to psychology, the psychology of trading is very interesting because you know for all of us, like all of us, I think all of us here, we can differentiate between right and wrong, and we can know when we're doing something that we're not supposed to do, whether trading or outside of trading. And it's a very and I'm talking from experience because I still remember the week when I was in the sim and I like went off rails and almost basically blew up my sim account. Being there and not being able to stop myself from the nonsense that I was doing. Man, that was a hard, hard, hard time. And it's like instead of me choosing the right thing to do, I would double down on doing the wrong thing, and then I would get into more trouble. And they call it like spiraling and snowballing. And people on the outside now can look at what we do, especially if you're doing well consistently, and they can say that what we're doing is easy. But they don't understand that type of stress that like I'm still human. As sound as I'm becoming and like working and trying, like if I want to say that I'm fearful, like, do I want to say that? Like, yeah, I'm fearful of ever being in that situation again because on the wrong day, it could literally mean you lose your whole account. If I fall victim into that type of mindset again, that's how you blow up an account, right? It's like you fall into that version of yourself that's you choose the wrong side. It's almost like those movies where you have the good side here, the bad side on your shoulder, right? The angel and like the devil, and they're both whispering into your ears. That stuff was painful for me, man. Like, it was very painful. But coming back to the question, this is another good thing is like being disciplined beyond trading. And I remember reading this book called Siddhartha, right? It's like this monk who tried to exercise discipline in every essence, in every aspect. And are you willing to go beyond just trading? How are you in your personal life? How are you physically? How are you mentally? How are you spiritually? And are you choosing to do the right thing, even though it might be the hard thing to do in every situation of your life? And that is so hard. That even for myself now, like, I mean, like laziness and procrastination and distractions and temptations and all these things that's out there, it's just there to get us. But we all know what we need to do. We all know what it takes. We all know what it takes. I think that's something that we can admit to ourselves is that you and I both know what it takes, right? But despite saying this out loud, we still will fall victim to not doing the right thing in the moment. Yesterday, just even yesterday, I don't even have to go back far. I'm guilty, right? There's a video that I was working on. I recorded it on Thursday, and I'm talking about getting started as a beginner trader in the market. And yesterday, I had the chance to edit the video to put the finishing touches on it so that it would be ready for today. Right? This is a video that I'm just going to be out to help beginner traders in the market. It's recorded on my phone. I just had to edit it. What did I choose to do? I chose to watch the Dallas Mavericks and the Los Angeles Clippers game. These are the battles that we have to face. you know. But here's the thing, right? If we have a certain goal, here's where it becomes, because of course we have to live. It's tricky, right? Because you still have to live life. You have to take care of your family, all this stuff, balance. But where it becomes real and serious is when you have a goal, you have a dream, you have a purpose, and you know what you should be doing, and then you're not doing it. It becomes a problem. I think we're all guilty of this. You know, it's pretty deep stuff, and it's the psychology. And I don't know if I'm 100% accurate, but maybe it's part of it and up along the line. But if we can try to be well rounded, maybe we can be a little bit better in the market when it comes to making those key decisions. Can we resist the distractions, the temptation, I mean whatever it might be, you know? And it's why religion, you know, is a good thing, is because it's the essence of discipline, right? Being disciplined is sometimes hard because we have to do something hard at moments in time. I can definitely be. That's how I know though I can be better. It is encouraging on one side because I know I could have done the right thing. I could have had that video out. I could have. But anyhow, okay, let's move on. And I know some people might not like this stuff, but I'm the most transparent trader. I'll use myself as an example. So I'd call myself out before I call anybody out. My best day, 26K. 26,000, my best day. How much size are you willing to go up to if the stock is right? Depending on the price, yeah. Yeah, so we can go by price range. Recently, I've been, like, as of like 3 4 weeks ago, before the market slowed down, I was in a place mentally where I felt I wanted to expand my size more. So my base size was 1,500. I tried to get that at 2,500. Max size was about 4,500, 5,000. I pushed that to 8,000, to 6,000, then 8,000, then 10,000. And I honestly was gonna keep going. I was gonna try to get up to like 14 and 8, then 16 and 20, but the market just slowed down so much so quickly that that came to a halt. I do plan to continue that though once things get back good again. But yeah, that's the plan. It's to really get up there to 15, 20K shares. You know, even if it might mean getting in multiple times with a certain amount of blocks. But whatever makes the most sense, even if it might mean buying 15,000 one time, right? That's the goal. That will be the goal, is to just be as aggressive as I can and continue to double down on what's working well for me. That's the main thing. Do you only have buy and sell hotkeys, or are the hotkeys faster than the hot buttons on the ladder? I think I think it comes down to what you're used to. Like Crispy Trades, for example, like awesome trader, great guy. Like he uses the buttons. I think more so than hotkeys, and he does really well. Myself, Marcelo, like we'll use the hotkeys instead. Um, I think it kind of depends. Like also the platform, like Marcelo uses DAS for a lot of, like, I think almost all his executions, and he really loves the intuitive hotkeys that they have, right? The ability to sell half, things like that. Like he loves to do that. So I think it comes down to a little bit of the style too, right? But I'm not sure which one is faster per se. I do utilize the flatten hotkey a ton on Thinkorswim, but I also will sell with my hotkey as well. Do you think your trading style can be algorithmically automated? This is a good question. I think it's possible. I think it's possible. And to be honest, this is why I don't like to share my data um, with too many platforms. Like there's agreements, and I'll be honest, it's another one of those things that we just spoke about discipline and doing what's right. I'll skip through the agreement and just hit agree. And in that agreement, I don't even know if they say they keep your data secure or they sell your data, right? Generally in the markets we hear like, hey, they sell order flow, right? But for example, TraderView. This is a software I upload every single one of my trades to see how I'm doing. Who knows what these people could be doing, like and sometimes to be honest, like I'm out there and I'm showing people what I'm doing. So like I'm not always like I'm not super let's say I'm not super afraid of it, but there are people who I've met, like big millionaire traders in the Discord before, like, having video calls, audio calls, all these things, and it's like they were pretty concerned that like their strategy could go away or their edge could have decay, edge decay, right? The term, if they shared their data with either too many softwares or just you know the wrong individual, right? Or even in my case, like a mass amount of people, right? In terms of the mass amount of people, like for me, I'll just say that my ignorance is bliss. Like that's all I'll say about that. Like I don't know. Like I don't know. Like is it possible? Is it a thing? Perhaps. I don't know. But there's another side of the argument too, which is like more people in the market. Ultimately, there will be like more liquidity. Maybe there can be like more follow through in key areas. And the saying now is that like the retail traders don't do any sort of real like impact compared to the big banks, the big institutions. Like they're the whale and we're the little shrimp nibbling and thinking that we're eating something, right? Again, it's why some people will look at what I'm doing as nonsense. I mean, I've even been told that by people. Like I spoke to this one guy who like was like an executive, like, and it wasn't like a disrespectful thing, right? And he didn't use the word nonsense, but it's not a disrespect thing. It's more like, yeah, I see what you guys are doing. That's cool, but like, like that's child's play. Like people look at what we're doing here as like they wouldn't even waste a day doing this. They do whatever they're doing, they're doing they're doing and they're doing it big. And it's just different, right? For me, someone coming up who never had any sort of money or anything, being able to make $100 very in a short amount of time. Okay, yes, granted, I did put in the years of studying and stuff, but or 500 in a day, $1,000 in a day, like that for me is amazing, right? But you tell Warren Buffett, hey, $1,000 in a day, this goes tells you, are you crazy? There's levels to it, right? Ultimately, there's levels to it. Work in progress. Why do you say that farm? Bro, I'm not gonna, Carlos. I'm not gonna entertain any nonsense questions, brother. As I mentioned, I have respect for every trader out there who's legit and doing their thing. No hate over here, no malice, man. All respect. Hey RT, I am new to this chat. How do I join the Discord? I can post a Discord link for you here. Let's see. Invite. I can. Let's see. Um, it's like I forget how to do this stuff sometimes. Okay, here we go. Invite people. I used to have the Nightbot posting the link every few minutes. I think I might have took that off. I gotta edit that to at least maybe once every. Yeah, because I didn't do it once. We'll shut it down in another like 10 minutes. Uh, let's see. Charles Schwab, Hotkey. Yeah, yeah. Some of these brokers can definitely be better. This is one way Thinkorswim can be better. Like Thinkorswim, they can improve their level two, their hotkeys. You know, they might not cater for small cap traders specifically, but you know, it's something that they can do if they definitely want to keep the customers, right? Let's see. The hotkey is actually without having to manually adjust your share size. Yeah, so what they need is more intuitive hotkeys, Joey. Because right now we have to adjust our share size because it's tagged to whatever's in our order entry, or let's say our active trader is what they call it at Thinkorswim. So if I wanna, let's switch screens just to give people a visual. Ticker symbol IBRX. If I'm watching at a particular trade and I want to take, 3,000 shares, but 1,000 is in my window, I'll have to either buy 3 times or actually come here and click this button to go up to 3,000. And that takes time. Time that we do not have in some of these situations where stocks are moving fast. Again, which is why some people do prefer to execute through DAS, which is this platform down below, which do have the intuitive hotkeys, right? Let's see. Enzo saying great answer. They don't call me the pastor for nothing, brother. You guys gotta see me in real life, man. I'm a little goofy though, I'll say. I'm a little like my jokes, I don't know, my jokes are a little different. I'm a little bit goofy, but I'm the same person, man. I'm the same person. If you ever seen Spy Kids 3D, right? Game over. I'm the guy. I'm the guy. Swing trading vertical spreads. Do you like it? I'm actually not sure what this is. I can look it up. Do I trade options or futures? The answer is no. That stock is at 178. I'm not sure which stock that is, but of course, do your research and be careful. How often do you video call with the people that have MMU? I've been doing mentor sessions very regularly. Like last week, I think we had one almost every day, except for Tuesday, maybe. Was that Wednesday or Tuesday? Um, the thing is that, hold up. Yeah, so we do Q&As every Sunday. Like this particular Q&A I'm doing for the masses because we didn't have a ton of questions this week. But we'll do a live Q&A every week, and it's essentially like a workshop. We're like, you know, the week before the last, like I went for 4 hours. I went for 4 hours, like really like locking in on some key questions, live archive reviews, like all these type of things. Um, so sometimes people will ask their questions there. Other times, like if they want more of an intimate experience, they'll reach out to myself or one of the other lead guys to set up a one-on-one mentorship session. But the way how it goes down is they'll message us in Discord, and it'll literally be like, "Hey RT, I need some help with such and such, and I'm free. Let's say on Tuesday, and I'm usually free every day after the live stream up until 4 p.m. Do I do a lot of different things in that time frame? Yes, I do. But once the student says like, "Hey, like Relentless, like around 1 p.m., even if I'm having lunch at 1 p.m., I'll move my lunch back to 2 p.m. So that way that hour is like just free. And then we can lock in and we can do either video call, audio call. We can share our screens and go over everything really: psychology, metrics, examples, any and everything that in any way that we can help really. Let's see. So there's a few more questions here, and then we can shut it down. I've never traded futures actually. right? Commodities and I've never traded futures. I trade at 2% stop loss. Do you think that using margin is a good idea? Well, Daniel, what style of trading are you trading? Are you hyper scalping or is it more of like a longer hold time? Also, and I guess really to answer the question, unless you're like consistently doing well, you'll probably want to be a little bit careful with margin, right? Hyper scalping, and I'll even say like hyper scalping and scalping is a little different. Like I'd say what we're doing is more hyper scalping, like these, millions of orders in a day. Well, not literally, but hundreds of orders. They do have the 390 rule, but yeah, we're kind of around there, like 300, 200, and 100, maybe 400 or 500 orders a day sometimes. But you'll definitely want to be careful because if you do use that margin and it's like the trade is carrying more weight, if it's a bigger loss, then it can eat up a good amount of your account. So you'll definitely want to like make sure you're managing risk in that aspect. Um, so the 4,000 option or five whatever it is, four, is it like 45 something there? That is lifetime. That is for people who are interested in like, they watch us every day, they like what we're doing, they want to be a part of the community, they don't want to deal with the hassle of like resubscribing, things like that. It is an option. But yeah, so it's lifetime access to the classes. So for those of you who don't know, it is subscription based, right? And you might say, Relentless, why in the heck is this thing a subscription? And in fact, we really and truly just made some changes. I mean, we can talk about it here quickly before we shut it down. We have made some changes, and Gold was our flagship subscription. Now it's called Diamond, and there's been some changes to what Gold now is. And so we actually did put something for those people who are just interested in a one-time purchase, but it is not the full access, right? So it'll cover day trading basics and a crash course in day trading, right? It's not the full-on, meat and potatoes of the mentorships. So in terms of why MMU is a subscription, there are ongoing things such as mentorships, the weekly Q&As, the access to our scanners via the Discord, access to our Discord throughout the duration of your subscription, um, and of course the live trading archives. Um, Once you are a Diamond member, you'll have not only access to my live trading, and I can zoom in on this. Yeah, you're not gonna only have access to my live trading every day, but Marcelo's, Tim's, and Triad's, right? So there's gonna be 4 point of views every single day. I mean, sometimes maybe we might miss an upload or two, but for the most part, like we're uploading there regularly, and you can see four unique perspectives on similar stocks. Some of the guys might be more aggressive. Like myself and Triad were a little less aggressive. Marcelo and Tim a little more aggressive. Sometimes more trades, sometimes bigger size. And so you literally can go back and see how did Tim take this trade on this stock at this time? How did Marcelo take this trade on this stock at this time? How did RT and so forth and so forth, right? So you do get that perspective there. Some people they really enjoy watching Tim as well. Like a lot of you guys really love the because Tim, while I'm hyper scalping, I'll say like I'm doing maybe about 200 orders on average. Tim closer to 350 orders. So like there's 150 more trades you can say. So there's that like those small differences like that, right? Marcelo maybe 300 orders, right? Triad maybe 150, 100 orders, right? And Triad isn't using the level 2 as much, right? I don't think actually not at all really, right? Primarily charting, right? So there's different perspectives that's there. But yeah, that's why it's a subscription, is because we actively are doing those things, and now there's a one-time purchase for those people who are interested. Silver used to be free, now we've made it $5, right? Silver we gave out, which is the basics, and there's still a good amount of material in there too, really and truly. You guys can check it out. You guys can check out the website. You guys can check out the website. But yeah, I think that's gonna do it. Uh, do you think you can use your style of trading and work a job at the same time? This is the last question we'll do, and then we'll head out. It comes down to the schedule that you're working, um, and also if you're remote or not, because availability is key, and you have to be able to be available, right? If you can get the first hour 9:30 to 10:30, that would be great. That way you can practice, and then you can always come back and study whenever you can throughout the rest of the day, even if it's just 15, 20, 30 minutes. The key is to be able to have that first hour, right? That's where we find that there's the most amount of liquidity. Um, but if you're not available, if you're like in the office, in the facility, whatever it might be at that time, and you can't have that undivided attention, it might be a little too tricky. It might be a little too tricky. But if you can get a day shift, an afternoon shift, an evening shift. When I was working and trading at the same time, the facility that I worked at, my schedule started from about 1, 2 p.m. I would go in early. Well, the actual shift was 2 p.m. I would go in for 1 p.m. Like I was a part of like the lead team, so sometimes we'll go in an hour early to set up the operation. But if you, again, that first hour is the key. But if you can have an afternoon shift, I think in the States here, there's a lot of like 3 to 11s, 2 to 10, you know, those type of shifts. I mean, you'll have to see how these things work out with your personal life, if you have other responsibilities, things like that. But yeah, that can be good. The overnight shifts can work too, but they can be a little tricky depending on when you're getting off. You got to make sure you're still available, feel good for the open. But if you're, if you shift your what was it called, like your orientation, if you're not moving with the sun, sunrise, sunset, if you're like, like a what do they call them, like, like New York, the city that never sleeps, right? Some people are just, they're working during the night, come in early morning. Depends on that type of stuff. If you're remote and you can be able to do it, then maybe there's an opportunity there. But other than that, it can be tricky if you don't have the time, because this is also something that I see for some people. You know, I'll talk to some guys, and even one of you guys that I met in person, like we're talking, is like, the guy, he does, and his name is Amos. Shout out to Amos, man. Cool, really cool guy, good guy. He does some trucking stuff, real estate stuff, and he's been around the markets for some time, but for him it's a little difficult to be able to get through the classes because of all the other things, and also having kids, right? Being the head of a household. So sometimes if you don't have the time, it'll be tricky, right? But yeah, this is where we're gonna end it off. I do appreciate everyone tuning in. Be sure to hit that thumbs up on the way out if you have not already. It's been a good video. It's been a Relentless Trader. I hope you guys all have a great rest of the day, rest of the evening. Um, Make sure to study up a little bit if you have not already. That way you're fresh for Monday morning. Also, come up with a bit of a plan, right? In terms, if you're someone who's been struggling, especially like, hey, what am I having issues with? What difficulties have I been facing? What adjustments do I want to make? And as you get into the day, you look to execute, right? But yeah, that's gonna do it for me. It's been a good one. I'll be studying up myself. I gotta study more. I gotta study some more. Like I've been slacking off on studying. You're never too big or too good to study. You gotta study. You see all those key details. And for me, I love to study by reviewing my recordings. All right. So with that being said, I'll catch you guys next time. Stay safe, stay green. It's been Relentless Trader, and I am, of course, signing out. Out like south.